Welcome back, everybody. Today we're doing another one of those videos that I don't want to do, but unfortunately tyranny is being put upon millions of American citizens, and obviously they're not happy about it. And if you don't know about it, you don't know how to react to it, you don't know how to fight against it. So I'm trying to bring that information to you. So basically, for those that haven't heard, yesterday, as of when I'm making this video anyway, the Ninth Circuit ruled on the case formerly known as Duncan versus Becerra, which has changed names over the years. But essentially, it was a challenge to Penal Code 32310 of California law, which prohibited any California residents from owning any magazines with a capacity greater than 10 rounds. And the thing that was kind of a really bad part of this law versus other similar laws that have been passed and thrown out around the country is that this particular law had no grandfather clause. So even if you had a magazine from, I don't know, the 1970s, then no matter what, you could not have it. Your only options were to block it, i.e. limit its ability to take over 10 rounds through some type of blocking mechanism, to sell it to someone out of state, or to turn it into the government. So in this particular appeals portion of the law, the Ninth Circuit weighed heavily on the Fifth Amendment, and basically within the Fifth Amendment there's a takings clause, if you will, and it says, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So there's a few different ways that it was argued in this particular case. In this case, they were saying that if you turn the magazines into California authorities, they were destroying them and they were not reusing them, so therefore there was no public use aspect of it. Additionally, there was no compensation. However, the people who wanted to pass this type of law and strip citizens of their natural rights were basically saying that the public use in this case was to prevent mass shootings, which is, of course, absurd on its face. So with no grandfathered laws, no grandfathered magazines, that was certainly an issue for a while until the Freedom Weeks happened. So basically, Judge Benitez more than once ruled that this law was unconstitutional, and that allowed a period of a week-ish twice for magazines to be sold, purchased, and owned in California perfectly legally by all residents and without any type of capacity restrictions on them. And in Judge Benitez's last ruling, he put in very specific language stating that until the appeal was finished, i.e. completely ruled on, now what that means is up to interpretation, which we'll get to here in just a second, then anybody who purchased, owned, and used those mags during that period can continue to do so until the appeals process was over. So as of yesterday, I was kind of unsure as to what that means, because some people say appeal can mean just to the Ninth Circuit versus a different legal term for the Supreme Court. Again, I'm not an attorney, so I was digging around doing a lot of reading on this, and one thing I found was from CRPA, which is the organization that brought the lawsuit in the first place, basically said that for now it appears that gun owners who possess magazines over 10 rounds may continue to possess them while the parties work to exhaust their avenues for rehearing and appeal. CRPA will release additional information on the status for individual gun owners as it becomes available. So again, that kind of lines up with several different rulings that are legal opinions, I should say, that I've read over the last couple days, basically saying that Judge Benitez's language in his ruling still holds up because it's not over yet. Now, I realize other people have said different things, but that's kind of the way I'm looking at it for right now. So what do you need to do if you're a California resident right now? As long as your magazines either came in during Freedom Week or are marked in such a way that there's no way to know if they came in during Freedom Week, you can continue to use them as you would before this. So that is my reading of it, and several other people who have law degrees reading of it. So right now, the appeals process, as mentioned by the CRPA statement, would be to the Supreme Court. So for folks that haven't been paying attention, right now, in this year anyway, the Supreme Court is scheduled to take up a New York case, which has some aspects of this law in it. Additionally, they've agreed to take on a New Jersey case, which has very specifically tied elements of capacity to it, but the Supreme Court has said that they're not going to rule on that New Jersey case until they first rule on the New York case and then go to the New Jersey case. So if the Supreme Court takes this case, of course they could take it and rule on it, next week if they want to. The Supreme Court has a lot of latitude, but the most likely thing that will happen is if they agree to take this up, it'll just get put in order. So it'll be New York case, New Jersey case, California case. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And again, it's not that big of a deal from everything I've read, because as of right now, you should be good to go if you're a California resident and you had those Freedom Week mags. So that's what I know as of right now. If anything changes on that from a legal perspective, I will certainly be more than happy to make a video updating it. But you know, a lot of people outside of California kind of scoff at the California gun laws, but the reality is, if you look at the history of what's gone on in this country, oftentimes what happens in places like California, Massachusetts, New York, trickles down into North Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, etc. That happens a lot, and obviously we just need to work on stopping any of those infringements from happening anywhere, whether they be Second Amendment, First Amendment, Fifth Amendment, 10th Amendment, etc. All of our rights mean things, and they all need to be fought for. So there is that. I will put links down to all of the different groups that are fighting this. There's a lot of good ones out there. CRPA, of course, is the one that originally brought it, but there's several others: Firearms Policy Coalition, Gun Owners of America, gun rights organizations. The links will be here on your screen and in the video description if you guys want to support them, because the reality is they're out there doing good work on our behalf, and it benefits everyone, whether you live in California or another state. So there is that. I suppose that's all I have for you. If you guys like this type of video and you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you are subscribed, thank you very much. I truly appreciate it. Regardless, I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.